Scott. A little behind today. I gotta get my shoes on. Let's put my weight in for this morning. We were just kind of free riding here today for reasons. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Back. We'll talk about this in a second. This is a rarity for a Monday that my weight actually went down from Friday. Lots of moving parts here. We'll talk about this stuff in a second. I had to let my dog out. He wouldn't come in. I got the cat in the basement in the gym somewhere, and I always get concerned that he's gonna get curious about the tire spinning around, and of course I'm not gonna see. But I think the noise is enough to scare him away. But he's back there hunting spiders, I think. There's plenty of them. Who do we got? We got Ron. Hoping that Todd shows up today. Things are, muscles are a little creaky today. Let's make sure our live stream is working. This microphone is all set up. Looks like we're good to go. And we are off. Matt, decapitate the cat. That's what I'm worried about, Matt. That is what I'm worried about. I don't want to decapitate the cat. That would ruin my ride. So, I guess the gist of it is, I've been wanting to do longer rides on the weekend. You coming, Matt? Or Ron? So I've been wanting to do longer rides on the weekend. Where are we? We're in France. Okay, we'll talk about all this stuff. We'll get there. But I've been wanting to do longer rides on the weekend. I haven't really done a ride. I think I've probably been capping out around an hour and a half. So I said to myself, alright, I've been riding a lot lately. Let's just try to it's kind of weird doing a warm-up. Let's just try to see if I can do 2 hours. So I picked a course. I wanted to pick something that was kind of flat. The problem is, Zwift doesn't have a lot of courses that are relatively flat and long. They're all, if anything beyond 20 miles, you're generally going to find a hill, a significant hill. It's going to ruin your day. So I picked a route that was about 38, 39 miles. And I knew that was a little bit more than 2 hours, generally, especially if there's a little hill. But I figured I would just stop at 2 hours anyway. And kind of just, sometimes I do these rides and I just kind of send up a flare to see if anyone's around that might want to ride. So I saw, Ron had already ridden outside, but Matt hadn't ridden. I think I could have probably wrangled Mike Romans to doing it, but by the way, I'm upset Todd's not here. That's alright, he'll be here tomorrow. But anyway, we wound up doing this course that was, I think, about 38 and a half miles long. It took us closer to 3 hours than to 2. Yeah, Matt had done a ride on Saturday, so his legs were toast. I hadn't done a long ride in a long time. So whereas I wanted to cap out at 2 hours, I think we did like 2 hours and 50 minutes or something like that. What made it worse was, I will admit we did stop for about 3 minutes there just to kind of rest up a little bit, which was smart actually, because when we started again I had a little more energy. But probably like the last 4 or 5 miles were really rough. And even worse is that, you know, we wanted to get the Zwift badge for the route because neither one of us had done the route before. And when we finished the meetup ride, which is supposed to be the route, we didn't get the badge. And of course, in order to get the badge, which you don't even know at the time, you're just kind of winging it. Like once you finish, you think you're done, you expect to get the badge, you don't, and you just kind of cross your fingers and hope if you just ride a little further, you'll get it. But of course, the further we had to ride, by the way, I'm dying, that's why I'm not going very fast today. Ron's going to pull me along. The further you went past, you went right up this giant hill. Not giant, but big enough. Big enough that after 40 miles, your legs really don't want that hill. And the worst part is you don't know. You don't know if there's a glitch and you're just not going to get it. Last week, Zwift repaired a glitch on some of their longer routes. So people were riding, you know, hours and not getting the badge. Which has to be frustrating. We probably rode an extra, I would say, 1.5 miles uphill. It might have been a mile, but because it was uphill, it felt like 1.5 miles. It sucked. It sucked. I've had the uncontrollably shaking legs before, Matt. I didn't have them yesterday, but yeah, when I was done, I was like, that sucked. So I felt really good about it, though. I felt like, you know, decent effort. Almost 3 hours on the bike. And I gotta tell you, as much as it sucked to finish those last few miles, I think I surprised myself that I was able to go that long. And really, I mean, I probably had a little more in the tank if I really, really, really wanted. So maybe this training actually works. Maybe this training thing. I think I burned about 1,300, 1,400 calories. I did. So, you know, here's the other part of this. Was I've been coming in here and putting my weight in every morning. And one of the recent patterns that I've recognized, and I talk about a lot, is I put in 5 days of work, getting up early in the morning, working hard in these workouts, and I lose like 4 or 5 pounds, and then I wake up on Monday after the weekend, typically a weekend where I don't do a lot, and I eat poorly, and I gain that weight back. So to come in today and throw up a number that was, you know, underneath what I weighed on Friday is huge, just for my psyche. And really, I didn't eat that great on Friday and Saturday. They weren't awful days. But they weren't good either. And without the exercise combined with the exercise, I was probably going to expect another bad number today. And yesterday's long ride really, I think, helped out. I may not, you know, sort of the kicker there, is I may not be fully hydrated from yesterday's ride. I might still be off a bit. We'll see about that. So Matt said I didn't really have a choice. That's true. I kind of joke around about Matt, but Matt's very persistent when it comes to things like not quitting But honestly, I felt like I knew I was going to finish that badge, unless I think if there was a point in my mind where I knew, like if we didn't get the badge like 2 miles after, I probably would have just been like, screw this is messed up, and assumed that Zwift was screwed up. But that's very insistent. Let's just put it that way. You were hurting though too. You were hurting though too. You had ridden on Saturday, but that was a good ride. Productive. Nice to get those miles in. So today's goal, by the way, so the original plan was that I was going to develop a 4-week training program and that we would ride it pretty much starting this week. I haven't done that. I started it, didn't like it, scrapped it, rebuilt it. It's actually, I've got it all written on paper, but I haven't built the actual workouts up yet. And it takes some time to do that. So the goal for this week is to try to find some of these like short to mid-range routes that maybe we don't have the badge for. So Ron doesn't have the badge for this one. I think I've done this one before. So I do have it. But the badges give you a little extra experience points so that you level up a little faster. So that's the goal for this week, is just to find some routes that maybe we need badges for. Get them done. Of course, we got to finish them in an hour because Ron has to go to work. Yeah, once we got to 25 miles, you were saying that during the ride, actually. But I knew we weren't going to quit. Wow, you're on level 31? Damn. How the hell did you get, would you level up like twice in the last 2 weeks? Oh my god. It's taken me weeks to move the needle this high. And I've been riding every day. What? No, we're not on event 2, dude. Don't worry about it. This is the lead-in. Scared you there a little bit, huh? We rode this yesterday like twice. We'll get to a point up here, I think. I'm not sure which way we're going, but there'll be a turn up here. I wouldn't do that to you, man. I gotta start building the workout for the next round of USA Triathlon workout rides. I got some ideas. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I think this was the hill that we climbed. No, it wasn't. This is the left-hand turn. If you go right here, you go to vent 2. Yeah, you see it dropped off. The KOM dropped off. Yeah, you ever notice that they do that list, so whenever Zwift updates, usually weekly, but if you actually read the things that they fix, it's always like remove the glitch that did this, remove the glitch that did this, that caused this. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing with all these glitches? It just seems very strange. One of our Thursday night riders, Wow, Taco Cat, he rode 4 Horsemen, which is a huge course. I forget how many miles, but it's huge and it's windy and hilly. And he didn't get the badge. That's like one of those things where you put in a few hours riding and just trying to get the badge because it's part of the game, and then you don't get it. That sucks. And like one of the things I just don't understand is like Matt and I do a meetup ride, and they ask you when you set up the meetup, right? What course do you want to ride? So we pick the course, and then when you start riding, they give you the distance of that course. They tell us it's like 38.7 miles. When we finish 38.7 miles, we should get the badge. And I don't understand what's so hard about that programming-wise. Like, what's so difficult about that? Because it's a major complaint to people that they ride the course, they finish the course, and they have to go more miles in order to get the badge. Yeah, so one day Matt and I rode on a weekend. It was actually in France. They're just the two of us on a meetup ride, and it totally bungled our speed. I think it added up our output. So my theory is they take the meetup group, and whoever's riding the fastest, that person goes out in the lead, and everyone else kind of, if you fall too far back, you get brought up to the front. Like they automatically make you go faster. And I feel like they've been improving that over the course of time, in general. Sometimes it gets glitchy and they have to fix it. But in general, they've been improving to keep everyone together mode. So everyone stays pretty tight, which is good. That's what it's about. So Ron and I are in keep everyone together mode right now. He's probably riding a lot harder than I am. But it's nice this way. So the one glitch that we had was that I think that they added, instead of using kind of like the fastest guy's speed for the group, which in essence is what that is. And that's why when we climbed Mount Ventoux that time, and there was 4 of us, we just had one guy pretty much go out for 2.5 minutes and ride hard. And then he would fall off, and then the next guy would go. And so we had pretty much 10-minute rotations. You'd ride hard for 2.5 minutes, and then get 7.5 minutes where you just rest and recover. That worked out well. We got up a very, a hill that would probably take me alone 5 hours to climb. We got up in about 2:15. I did, Matt. That's kind of like a weird thing. I don't understand that going downhill and coasting makes you go faster. You'd think if you just added a little bit of pedaling, a little tension, that you'd go faster no matter what. I don't know. They got 450 million. Hopefully they'll fix everything. Well, Ron, here's to hoping that, we're about 20 minutes in. 4 miles done. So you extrapolate that out to an hour. We might come up short here. I gotta get you that badge. Hopefully no more hills. I think I can summon up a little strength in a little bit. I'm in perpetual warm-up mode. I gotta tell you, this morning, I didn't feel like, I felt I had the excuse, I had the best excuse. I mean, I got off the bike last night at 6 o'clock to turn around in less than 12 hours and get back on it after riding for 3 hours. Almost 3 hours. I'm not gonna give myself credit for 3. I thought I would have a harder time waking up, and for some reason I got right out of bed this morning. I didn't even go to bed early last night. Yeah, we did have that hill. Hopefully we don't have any more, but I think it's flat for a while here. I gotta bring this bike in. It's definitely creaky and I don't even know what to do with my phone today. So if you're talking in the chat room, I don't even have my phone. It's a crazy morning. Dog wants to go out, he doesn't come in. Cat stuck in the basement, I couldn't get him out. I actually forgot water, but this was leftover water from yesterday. Little knob here. Let's use my feather. Did that really do anything? I'm not sure. Then 2 on Thursday night. You want to do that for Thursday night ride? Well, might have a lot of people there to take some turns. Pull us up to the top. Thursday night been to? What do you think, Ron? I'll tell you what we could do. I don't mind doing it on a Thursday night. That'd be a lot of trivia to come up with, though. And we might get a lot of people. Which would help if we did the everyone take turns thing. Get a little downhill here, a little bit, not too much, but actually yesterday I think this is where we stopped for like 3 minutes just to take a break, get the legs back. Hey Matt, your ride to the radio tower. So I remember, I don't know, maybe a dozen people, half dozen to a dozen people riding up that thing. But you picked her. I feel like, did we do that and then Alpe du Zwift as well? I feel like we did some crazy course that day. And I think that was my longest ride ever until yesterday. I think yesterday beat it. But I think that the ride that you're talking about had so much altitude, like ridiculous altitude. I think we climbed the radio tower and then Alpe du Zwift. Is that what we're talking about? But I think because we're in keep everyone together mode, Alpe du Zwift was pretty short. It only took like an hour and a half, an hour. Probably an hour. That was like January or February when you were doing every Saturday you'd do like some ridiculously epic course. That's how you do those rides and keep everyone together mode. And you realize what it is, the benefit of not being 240 pounds. When everyone else around you weighs 160 and they are just crushing you up those hills. I almost quit that time too. Actually, you kept me in on that one too. There's a few times I was dying. You had something going there, those Saturday morning rides, I do gotta say. Oh, that's right, you ain't gonna be there. We need Ron. Ron's the engine. I think these cobblestones slow you down in the formula that they have. I feel like if I rode on cobblestones, I would fall on my face. I remember doing Ironman Maryland, and there's a part where you ride kind of a two-lane highway, and the road's open, but the shoulder is big enough you can ride on the shoulder to be safe. Everyone was riding on the shoulder. Except you had to ride single file line, and the only way you could pass people was to go on the highway rumble strip. which is not a good idea to ride your bike over. And you lose so much speed doing it that I actually pulled over because I watched somebody else do it. So I pulled in to pass a guy, which I know rarely happens, but I pulled over to get on the rumble strip and I lost so much speed. I couldn't get past him. So I had to kind of, tuck my tail between my legs and go back into where I was. But that's like those cobblestones. I gotta tell you, Matt, I tried to be as honest about it as possible. Matt's making fun of me for the time I was trying to ride down Whiteface Mountain and felt unsafe. So I started walking and then took a ride from a guy. Now, I will say, yes, the act of telling him to stop about 100 yards before your car was completely duplicitous. I was thinking about taking that one to the grave. But I tried to be as honest about it as possible. So I don't think that there were, I might have wrote in and said, oh, that was tough. And it was tough. At least the part that I tried. A 2 jersey. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at you. There's no one out here in France today, huh? Yeah, I don't think I said it. So it's just me and you either. I think I said it so it's open. I think, I like to set it that it's open because you're able to kind of get those random ride-ons, thumbs up from people that are out here. And otherwise you don't get that. And that's one of the ways that I build my connections. I give it to you, man. You got the jersey. All right, we're 30 minutes in. We're in better shape here, huh? You're right, we're in better shape now to finish it up within an hour. You're pushing pretty hard, though. I, on the other hand, am not. I kind of knew. I think my intention was always to tell you, Matt. I wanted the option to pull it to my grave. Honestly, for the podcast, I'm a coach. You would expect that someone who coaches can get their ass down a hill safely. And I tell you what, I did. I got down the hill safely. But I thought it was a good lesson. Because going uphill sucks, and you should feel accomplished when you do something like that. But you know what sucks worse? Crashing. Crashing sucks worse. It does. I didn't want to add that to my resume that day. I still don't have this thing fixed. Yeah, it's lovely this time of year. It is where they have like lavender fields and they did a pretty good job with this road, I'll say. I mean, I've never been to France, so I don't necessarily know how accurate it is. But I feel peaceful on this course. The windmills. I feel like they're adding stuff to it too. I feel like it was kind of bland and that they rushed it out for like their online Tour de France thing. But I feel like they keep making little adjustments and adding more and more scenery. And it's nice. I mean, what's that island in the distance there on the right? Some church or something on the top. You gotta let us ride there, you know? Uh-oh. You glitched off there for a second, Ron. Come back. Come back. Ron, where'd you go? I'm pedaling faster, so when you click back in, you'll catch up. But you're not clicking back in. Let's not talk about the competition, Maddie. I'm sure he doesn't see me as competition, by the way. His YouTube channel is huge. We did have him on the podcast once. Where'd you go, Ron? Ron, did you throw your chain or something? Usually you click back in like within moments. Yeah, he kind of like was like no more triathlon at one point. I tell you, you know what you do when you create these things, you do pigeonhole yourself, right? So I mean, my podcast is Ordinary Marathoner. I haven't run in about a month. I mean to, and I don't. Haven't done marathon in 2 years. You know, you do what you care about. You do what you want to train for. So I get it. So when you set your name to Triathlon Terran, people are going to assume that you do triathlons. So he's kind of like veering off of that now, doing other things. But it's all part. Oh damn. I'm hoping they reel you back in here, Ron. I started riding a little harder to try to cover since I knew that you were riding hard. And I was hoping that once you got back in, it would just reel you back in. Still might. You're a minute and 40 back. No. Yeah, I know. Like, he was a Ventum guy. and Ventum gave him that really nice bike. I mean, that bike is sweet. It's got all its colors and logos and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like, you don't know what's behind the scenes, right? I mean, the thing is, when you're trying to podcast and do videos, it's a hard business. I mean, I don't make anything. I make my money, if I make anything, and it's from coaching. I don't make anything from YouTube. I don't have many subscribers compared to him. I got 158, and he's got like 158,000. Actually, I don't know what he has. He's probably got like 50,000. I think he makes decent money off of that. But anyway, point is, when you're trying to make a career out of it, and you got people like Canyon knocking on your door and saying, hey, here's a bike, it's hard to say no to it. But yeah, there's kind of like, if you've been watching him and you've seen him on that Ventum for like years and talking about Ventum, it feels a little like a betrayal. But you don't know. You don't know. I kind of stopped watching him a while back. Nothing super personal. I just, I don't know. It was almost like over content. I felt like he was pushing stuff out because he wanted to get stuff out every day. And I felt like he was kind of pushing stuff out that I wasn't interested in. There's a lot of sales effort. And I try to avoid that a lot, but if you want to make money doing this stuff, you got to do it. You got to do the product reviews and stuff like that. And especially if you got sponsors paying you. That's true too. I mean, you know what I mean? Maybe Ventum, maybe there was argument there. Who knows? You know, I tell you, sometimes you get into these sponsorship agreements, you know, as a content provider, you want to do well for the sponsor, right? You want to over-deliver. You want to throw their name out there. We do that all the time with like Greasy Girl headbands, which is now Athena Fitness Collections.com. And Queen Bean Coffee is another one. These guys support us every year in our virtual race. Every year they show up. Grandma Junie. And so yeah, I like to throw their name out there. But you know, another part of it is, if it doesn't materialize into success for them, you know, I mean, maybe, look, he's had that Ventum bike for 3 years. He's probably, even longer, he's probably ridden the thing into the ground, been training on it, racing on it. You know, for all we know, he approached Ventum and said, hey, I need to get a little, you know, fix this one up a little bit, or maybe get your new model. And they were like, no. And then Canyon gave him the new model. I don't know. I don't even know the situation because I don't really watch. But I gotta tell you, when I go to Ironman events, it is rare to see a Ventum bike. So all I'm saying is it hasn't really translated. It hasn't really translated into like Ventum being a top name brand. I think they're more well known for sure. But honestly, when I go to Ironman races, I don't see a lot of Ventums out there. Maybe because they're expensive. He defends his decision. Of course he's going to defend his decision. You could argue that maybe that doesn't need to be on the podcast, but who knows? Trying to be a little democratic, diplomatic. Any other word that starts with D that means fair. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody, yeah, Cervelle's number one. A lot of treks and specialized. We actually, when I went to Mont Tremblant, when you check your bike in, they had a guy sitting there, and he was marking down all of the bike manufacturers as people were bringing their bikes in. So it's kind of neat. I've been waiting for my Scout bike deal. I mean, geez, I ride the thing every day. It's held up very well. I mean, I gotta have thousands of miles on this thing. And they have like, I know like no one rides, there's not many Scout bikes out there. There's more Scout bikes than Bentons though. But they have, I think, one of the top guys rides a Scout bike. You know what? I gotta tell you, Matt. If he doesn't defend himself, people will rip him up. Could be. But one of the things I've learned, when people talk trash, whatever. And I know you've learned this too. You gotta just kind of shake it off. Kind of be a man about it and shake it off. You make the decisions you gotta make. You do the things you gotta do. I think in the end, if you like the guy's show and you like the guy, what he's doing, you're gonna stick around. You're gonna watch. You're gonna tune in. If you're kind of a wishy-washy fan, and this rubs you the wrong way, that he switched bikes, then I don't even know. Did he just get a Canyon? I saw that he got a Canyon mountain bike or a gravel bike. Right, it's a gravel bike. But did he get a road bike too, or a tri-bike too? I don't know. That's not true, Matt. No one despises Matt. You know, here's the thing. If you hate people for their online presence and their social media status, you got problems. You have more problems in your life than that. Because it just ain't worth it. I mean, I've seen some tweets out there, or Facebook posts and whatever, that I shudder. I think a couple of years ago, there was a time where I might have like written some Facebook posts that I wanted to send, and I chose not to do it. And at the last, it's kind of like at that last minute, you're like, you know, I don't know that I really want this out in the public. You can have your opinions and keep them to yourself. I mean, what good does it do you to go out there on social media and like, well, like your thing, right? So you were talking, Matt was talking to like a pro cyclist about going down the Keen Descent in Lake Placid. And I gotta tell you, so I guess the guy had the Strava segment, and Matt said something like, oh, I'm going after your Strava segment. I mean, purely innocent. That would be like me telling Barry Bonds, I'm going after your home run record, right? Purely innocent. Not only that, but Matt's pretty darn fast. And if he decides to kind of just lay it loose, going down Keen Descent, he's going to be pretty fast. Sam Long. So he writes this thing, and then people go and they start checking Matt's like Strava profile for how fast he is. They see that he's a big dude. They see that he's done some races on the slower end. I mean, Ironman Lake Placid. I mean, we were like 7.5 hours. A, you're a much better cyclist now, and I would expect you to do a lot better. But B, what difference does that make when you're talking about a segment, especially Keen Descent, and who is, you know, who's the jerk that's got to like contest you for trying to start a conversation about it? Just so stupid. I mean, for the most part, our group has been pretty good. I think so we've had our discussion group up, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Let me see. I think I've kicked 2 people out. One person left in disgust. I've had some people just cycle out. People that I like too. I've had people like that, people that I consider friends. People whose weddings I've been invited to. In the group for months, and all of a sudden they're gone. They leave, and I don't know why. And I get it. Like, it's hard to manage sometimes your social media presence. But like when I consider you a personal friend, and you leave it, I got to be honest. It hurts my feelings. I don't really mind. In the end, it's like, all right, sayonara, goodbye. I mean, I guess that's it. And I wind up not falling out. Like, we don't argue. I still actually cheer for them and root for them. I like them. But when they leave the group, it's like, why did they leave? And I stay in the group a lot. Like, I don't really surf other groups and hang out in other groups, so I never see these people again. And it's sad. Once in a while, they show up in my timeline. I'm like, oh yeah. Remember when we used to chat with that guy or that person? Hey, we're almost done here, Ron. We did well. Nice job catching up too, by the way, man. But yeah, so Matt had people like ripping him apart for that. For talking to the guy. Yeah. You know, I can kind of see the number, Matt. And I never know who leaves. There's no way to see who leaves unless you're monitoring that. And I don't think that it's just not worth the time. If people want to leave, they're going to leave. It's more like someone who consistently posts over time. And you get to know that person. Maybe even like that person. And after a while, you're like, oh, geez, I haven't seen that person post in a while. Like, what's going on? And then you check and they're gone. And I've actually had it happen where, oh, did I get a jersey? Oh, look at that. Thanks, Ron. I don't think I've ever had a jersey. Just finishing up here. This is a good ride, Ron. We'll do it again. You got a couple more that you need to get, a couple more badges. We'll find some routes that we can do. We just need 5, so we need 4 more. Yeah, so that guy Sam Long, he was nice, right? There was someone on his page that took issue with whatever you wrote. You gotta just shrug that off. I know you did. I've had people, you know, that I consider friends, like write crap on my page. This is what it is. You shrug it off. You kind of hope they just had a bad day and move forward. There you go. I don't know what this hell's all about. Why are you doing this to us at the end here? Hopefully we'll get the badge right away, unlike yesterday. I'm hoping this isn't the spot where Matt and I hit yesterday. We had to continue to climb like another 2 miles to get the badge. I really don't need to go 235 watts today. Even though I want to be done. I'll let Ron do it. Yeah, don't worry about it, Matt. People like, I don't know, they love talking. Facebook is a terrible construct for some people. Some people just shouldn't really be on it. They don't know when to shut up. I hate to say it. But you know it's true. Here's the end. Please give us the badge. Oh, I won't even know. I got this badge already. Ron, did you get the badge? I don't have my phone. I can't even look at the map. But I already got this badge, so it won't show up for me. And I noticed you're still riding, so I'm assuming... Oh, you know what? We've detached. Which means I'm done. But I think you got one hill to climb. If you don't have it, girl, you know it's true. Little Milli Vanilli. Let me see. I don't know if you're going up that hill that we went up yesterday. I think it's the same thing. Where I don't know if you've done this route before. Actually, I think you have. There's a hill that you go up that has switchbacks. I think you're coming up the opposite end of that. Right? So you're going to have to climb that hill. And then there's an archway. There's a segment that comes up, the hill climbing segment. And when you get through that archway, that's where we got the badge yesterday. I've already done this one. Oh, is that? My cat is meowing, so he's still alive. That's a good sign. Anyway, all right, listen, I'm gonna go. Ron, get that badge, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing. You're gonna get it soon. And see you guys tomorrow morning.